Hi and welcome to episode 5 of the Load Down podcast with best mates Mike and Johnny. This episode's a bit of a special episode where we'll be talking about Download's international fan base, sharing a recollection of our good friend Jesna's Download experience, where he travelled nearly 8,000 miles just to be a part of the Download family.
This is the Load Down podcast.
Good afternoon.
Hi mate.
How are we doing? It is actually afternoon this time. We're doing it during the day, so if there might be a little bit more background noise,
there's
cats jumping on the roof and birds tweeting away.
Kids kicking off in the garden.
Yeah,
Not ours.
yeah.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Yeah, good mate. I had a nice Halloween themed day with the kids today. Done a bit of pumpkin carving and stuff, and yeah, it's been great. And it's actually a stunning day in Barrow.
It is beautiful.
Today it's really sunny. So we've got our new Load Down podcast flag, which we'll be raising at Download next year. We've got that covering the windows today to stop the sun from burning me.
That's how bad he is. October
Yeah.
in a shed, and he's still
In the shed
struggling.
and still got my Factor 50 on.
So another week closer to an announcement. So still no solid news to share on the who's going to be playing as yet. There's been a few festival announcements around the continent, which we'll cover a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But what we were getting together to discuss today was specifically international attendees for Download.
Yeah.
So I think over the years we've bumped into a lot from continental Europe. You know, you get a lot of the German fans, French fans. Download even branched out into those places, didn't they? Did Download.
Where was the furthest they did that?
They did Australia.
Yeah, I thought they did, yeah.
I don't think there's any more running now. I think they tried to do France, they did Germany, and they did Spain, and I think they might have done Italy.
Right, okay.
And they weren't booked by the same team. It was just like a franchising sort of thing. But they didn't really kind of get a good foothold. Download France, it's going to struggle in it against Hellfest.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You have to put up a bit of money to compete with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, Hellfest has its own. It actually owns the grounds that it runs in.
Right.
So for when the festival's not running, they can just keep, any money they've got, they can plug into the infrastructure and it's going to stay there.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why when you look at the photographs of it, it just looks like an absolute paradise for heavy metalers.
Because they have some of the buildings are there all
Yeah,
year round. 'Cause they
permanent
own it.
structures.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really good.
It looks really, really good. So the specific gentleman we were going to discuss today is a good friend of ours from Indonesia.
Yeah, our good friend Jesna.
So Johnny's going to introduce Jesna a bit now, and then what we asked of our friend Jesna doesn't actually speak English much. He can say the odd word, but his wife Jodie has been coming to Download since the beginning with us and beyond mine and Johnny's attendances.
Yeah.
So she has taken his words, translated them for us, and it's quite the story, actually. I'm looking forward to reading it to you because Johnny hasn't actually
I've not
this.
heard it yet. So, yeah, I'm quite
Johnny, you
excited.
tell us a bit about Jesna before we get started.
So we've met Jesna, and we've obviously known Jodie for a while. Met Jesna a few times. I remember the first time we met him might have been when he came over to Barrow.
Yeah.
Which must have been a bit of a culture shock because the first place we took him was our local Wetherspoons.
Yeah. Welcome to England.
Welcome to Barrow. Welcome to England. We'll take you to Spoons. I think we actually went to see a tribute. I think it was upstairs.
Did we go and see a Maiden tribute?
Maiden tribute, yeah.
Yeah, at the meeting place.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But yeah, so Jesna, he also likes to be known as 735 Art, as Jesna is an incredible artist,
Yeah, he is.
which we'll go on to. But so Jodie's give us a bit of a kind of overview of who they are and where they live, just to get us to picture that type
like
of
we
thing.
said when we were planning the episode, you couldn't be further. It's so far away from the crowds of Download.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So Jody said, we live in a rural village in Bali and we have no neighbours. Our village has a total of 5 families in it, so it's the polar opposite of download. We sometimes hear karaoke from the village on a Friday or a Saturday night, but that's as hardcore as it gets here. I'm sure the locals who have their land next to us and near to us are quite bemused when they're cutting the grass to feed their cows or getting their bananas and hear us occasionally blaring Slipknot, Metallica and other delights. So Jesna, also known as 735 Art, is from Bali, Indonesia. He's big into punk music. He was in quite a few successful Balinese punk bands, playing bass and drums. I don't know if he was playing them at the same time. That'd be quite impressive.
He's quite an artist.
And was part of the Indonesian punk movement in the 90s, which was quite dangerous because it was deemed as illegal to wear the clothing, have the hairstyle, and listen to the music. Which is
amazing.
It's insane to even think of, isn't it? He backed away from it slightly when he got his mohawk shaved off by the police during the civil unrest in Indonesia in the late 90s. But punk, underground music, themes, and a left-of-centre attitude and mindset has always remained at his core, which is insane. It's crazy
insane.
to think about some of those things.
We love this music, but we don't really go through any hardship to enjoy it.
No.
The dedication to have literally been, beaten up by the police, to have your hair shaved by
just
is
because
incredible.
you liked a particular style of music is
it's so hard to comprehend, isn't it?
And we didn't know anything. We didn't know that about him at all, did we? Those stories until Jody had sent them over.
No, he's a very quiet man. He likes to. From our experiences with Jesna, he sits and he absorbs.
Yeah, brilliant.
With a smile and
absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think although we don't speak a word of his language and he doesn't speak any of ours, there's just an immediate connection.
Yeah.
And I think that's with anyone. And we said about, we met lots of people from all over the world at Download.
Yeah.
You've all got that one thing in common. You don't need to speak their language at all. And you
No,
can
that's
still
right.
have an incredible time.
I mean, like we said, Jesna's travelled 8,000 miles, and I think the only person I know that I know personally that's come further is Mitch Clark from Australia. And we bonded just over. He just asked what time a certain band was on in the day because we were flicking through the app. So we had a load of beers left over. It was the Sunday morning. I said, have a can, sit down. We sat down for the best part of 3 hours, chatted for the whole time, and then met up in the arena later on, and we're still in touch now. So it's quite amazing that it attracts the people, because Mitch and Jesna were travelling purely to come to Download Festival.
Yeah.
I think Mitch flew over, went to Download, went to watch the cricket, and then went home.
Yeah.
And he'd done it a few times. He hasn't done it since because he's got a family now. So
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to see him at Download again.
Brilliant. So I guess we'll hand over to you, Mike, and you can read out.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this story.
I'm going to test a bit of background music on this one.
Yeah, we are. So we'll.
So if there isn't any, it's because we've.
Yeah, because it's broke.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, grab yourself a brew, grab yourself a beer, and let's have a listen. Should we jump straight into it?
That's it, yeah. Put me CBBS bedtime stories voice on again.
Go for it.
This is the Lowdown Podcast.
So this is a recollection from 735 Art, Jesna, reflecting on Download 2023. Download Festival 2023 was like nothing I'd ever experienced. From when I arrived until when I left, it was unreal. I remember arriving at Download Festival in the car on the Wednesday before the festival and seeing a lot of cars parked in the different areas. Cars were waiting patiently to go into different car parks, and everything was so well organised. We'll talk about that in a minute, Johnny, because 2023 seems a bit different to what I remember. Yeah. There were people milling about, waiting for shuttle buses, walking to different areas. And I remember thinking, this is a lot of people, which made me a bit anxious. We got our bags that we wanted to take with us to our tent and walked to the security gate, which thankfully wasn't too far. Once we got through the security gate, everything opened up onto this asphalted area, and it just seemed so huge. While walking to the tent, again there were so many people, everyone wearing band t-shirts, dressed in heavy metal gear, walking from here to there, sitting, talking and enjoying themselves, even though really the festival hadn't even begun. By late afternoon on the Wednesday, The accumulation of all the excitement, anxiety, differences, and alcohol got the better of me, and I had to sleep. Waking up on the Thursday, which was the first day of the festival, was strange. Getting out of the tent and really seeing all of the tents that were around our tent was brilliant. All of the bell tents looked like little pyramids in the morning sun. Slowly, as everyone around us started waking up and coming to life, the energy changed, and I could feel the excitement building for the music. We went into the main arena at 12, and when I walked into that area, I realised this festival is fucking huge. Before getting into the main arena, I thought the RIP campsite and the general shopping area was the size of the festival, so to walk through the gate and see the humongous main stage was mind-boggling. We sat in the front of the main stage and Bloodywood were playing, and I couldn't focus on the music because I was too busy looking around and realising where I am and taking everything in. Everyone seemed so relaxed, sitting on the grass, walking around, talking and just chilling out. That evening we watched Metallica. We took our camping chairs in early in the afternoon and got a good place in front of the main stage and just sat watching and listening to all the music before Metallica played. Slowly throughout the afternoon and evening, the area in front of the main stage started filling up with people to the point that it was full. Most of the time I stayed in my chair because I was quite overwhelmed by the amount of people around me, but there were a couple of times that I stood up and looked around at the ocean of people and felt sheer panic seeing the amount of people in one area. Seeing all those people made me think, what the fuck? My wife told me after the festival that there were around 200,000 people there, which I can't comprehend. I think that's slightly over the top. I think it was 130 though. It was massive.
Probably felt like that.
Yeah. And then this next bit is incredible. The only time I have ever experienced a gathering of people slightly close to that size would have been when the dictatorship fell in Indonesia and there was civil war. So obviously it stirred up feelings of anxiety and discomfort for me. Mm-hmm. But the feeling of everyone being together was one of electricity. The electricity of excitement. Despite my discomfort being in a crowd of that size, I never felt threatened or unsafe at any point. Throughout the whole festival, even though people were drinking, I never was in any disagreements or saw anyone fighting. That was amazing. So much different to events I've been to in Indonesia. Obviously, everyone who was at Download was there for the same reason, to enjoy the music and see bands. But there was also a feeling of togetherness and community there that I experienced, even though I was in a place which was completely alien to me. The second day, I felt more relaxed because I kind of knew what to expect. We went to our friend's campsite in the morning and saw where they were camping, which was great. They'd almost set up a little community of friends and had a barbecue going, beers and party hats. It was nice being able to be around friends and hang out outside of the main arena in an area which was quieter. I walked around the arena area on the second day too and saw the other two stages. I still can't understand how the stages can all be going at the same time with the bands playing. At local events in Bali and Indonesia, usually there's just one stage and everyone plays there and there's an area at the front of the stage for everyone to watch. But at Download, there were 4 stages miles apart and everyone was walking back and forth to each stage for different bands. British people are extremely strong to be able to do that. I think we walked around for maybe an hour and throughout the festival only left the main stage once because I couldn't do all that walking. I bet people like my friends who go and make a plan to see loads of bands at different times on different stages walk over almost 100 miles over the weekend. I'm so happy that the weather was good when I went. My wife has told me some stories of when she went and the weather was horrendous, and I've seen friends' videos where they were ankle deep in mud and water, and I can't imagine doing that. I think if it had been like that when I was there, I would have stayed in the tent and listened to the music from there. That's a good thing about staying in RIP. It was close enough to hear the stages. Overall, it was an amazing experience I am so happy to have been part of. It was incredibly eye-opening to see an event as huge as Download be managed the way that it is, from arriving and the management of parking, to being at the festival, seeing the layout and how it is formed, to seeing the different camping areas and how they're all contained to keep people safe, and to see and be a part of the community that go there. I really got a sense of safety and felt very welcome there. It was wonderful to be amongst people of all different ages and races and backgrounds in one place, united under a love and passion for music, not caring about what anyone looked like or what anyone else was doing. I really look forward to going again in the future. My only criticism would be that there isn't enough artwork incorporated into the festival. Just to put it out there, if Download Festival would ever be interested in having a couple of murals done for the festival, live murals during the festival, sculptures, or even stage art with focus on blending the Download culture with an Indonesian perspective, I'd be happy to help out. Thank you, Download, for a wonderful festival in 2023. 735 Art.
This is the Lowdown Podcast.
So that's our friend Jesna's experience from travelling all that way to come to somewhere so different to his home. It gave me goosebumps, to be honest.
Oh, it did me. Gave me tears in my eyes, to be honest.
Well, especially with Jesna not speaking English fluently. I mean, Geordie is incredible at translating.
Yeah.
But you can't always grasp the feelings of someone like that. With Jesna, he sits there with his hat on and his sunglasses on, and he smiles and he's happy. But going back to stirring up the feelings of like the Civil War.
I mean, to compare that to Download and the sheer amount of people, if that's the only time he's ever seen that many people in one place, then it's bound to touch something. But
yeah, it's quite the recollection.
Yeah, it really
thanks very much, Jesna and Geordie.
Yeah, thanks so much, man.
Going back to Jesna's point at the end there, I do think that it does lack a bit of art, installations, just a general, just decorate the place a bit more.
Yeah, I think when you look at like Hellfest and places, and even Bloodstock now, we said it's the attention to detail really sells those festivals. I think now, Download tried it a little bit last year with the new bars. There was like a biker bar. And
was
stuff.
a little bit better, yeah.
And I think that's great, but the attention to detail. But
I'd compare it to Kendall Calling when I went with Emily.
Yeah.
And they announced their fancy dress theme, well in advance, and they put so much effort into making the whole site look like that.
Themed towards.
It's quite amazing. It's not just, I mean, Download, even with its fancy dress theme, throws it out there absolutely last minute. So you've got no chance if you want to.
Yeah.
I think it's quite poor. So I definitely agree with Jesna there that they could definitely make much bigger effort to make it feel like an experience. Yeah.
And we had a message a couple of weeks back, didn't we, from someone who said they felt very anxious and really nearly never left the tent.
Yeah.
And that's probably someone coming from a town or a city.
Yeah.
I can't even comprehend being in a village where they've said there's 5 families spread around miles and miles to go from that and rarely seen anybody at all.
Well, they built their own house, didn't they?
Yeah, it looks amazing, doesn't it?
Which is, and there's no one near them really. Yeah. I mean, it looks beautiful where they live, absolutely beautiful. Kate, Rosie, is Tilly going over as well? I think that a fair few of them are all going over to visit next year, and they're all really excited about that. Yeah. Kate's carrying on to Australia to see our family as well.
Fantastic. But but what year was that? It was 2023, wasn't it? So that was the probably the hottest Download we've
busiest
been to.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were there in short shorts and t-shirts, and Jesna must have been acclimatising quite well. He was in his skinny jeans and a big puffer jacket and a woolly hat. And then we knew it was hot when he took his jacket off.
Yeah.
I think that's the mark.
Geordie laughed partway through it and said, she said, Jesna just said it's hotter than hell. Which is incredible, going from Indonesia to the heat of Download 2023.
Yeah, what a lovely family though. As soon as you see them, big hugs all around, beers, and just have a great time. That language barrier means nothing.
No, not at all. And that's a good thing for, I mean, obviously Jesna and Geordie flew and came to Barrow, but you're literally next to the airport. Yeah. As if you've ever camped at Download, there's planes nearly land on top of your tent.
Yeah, incredible. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for sending that over.
No, I really appreciate it. And
I look forward to reading again and again, to be honest.
Yeah, and I hope you join us again fairly soon. Thanks very much.
This is the Lowdown Podcast.
Okay, so now we've listened to Jesna's recollection of things, all things download. We'll move on to some unholy confessions. So, Mike, you put a couple of things into the Reddit community again last week, asking for some random moments and best.
Well, our favourite thing about Download Festival and festivals in general is just the randomness that you encounter going forward. So we had a bit of a muse between ourselves, didn't we? Yeah. Thinking about what random events we remember. You came up with one particular memory from 2017.
Do you know what? When you read through some of these stories people are sending in, it kind of triggers something in the back of your head, like memories of download.
You
that
do.
I think, oh my God, I just thought about that.
It's like unlocking something, yeah.
Somebody mentioned about like a medieval MMA fight or something.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
What was it called? It's called Battle Zone or something like that. It was Battle Summit.
They're all fighting in knights in armor and stuff.
But they'd be pretty much set up in the arena. I think it was 2013 that I remember it. And they'd just have like a rope cordoning it off. And they were knocking 10 bells out of each other. It wasn't even like they were just gently pretending. They were like kicking shit out of each other at the back.
So that was a bit of a light bulb moment. I thought, oh my God, I've just remembered something. So I remember when we were there for my stag do, and when the village was obviously in the old village in 2017. In the mud and the grass, there was quite a cool little area, and I don't know whether that was relatively new actually, because I don't remember being in there.
It's the only time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, and it was like a forest area with a nice bar, load of wooden benches and stuff.
Had like a little Red Bull bar.
It was cool, and it's pretty chilled. I don't know if they had bands on or anything in there, but we walked past as a group and thought, well, we'll just nip in here, and there was just a huge crowd of people all in a circle. Thought, I wonder what's going on here. It must be some organised event, some organised thing. And it was basically like an underground wrestling match between whoever wanted to get involved. And we thought, it's can't be that brutal. They were kicking shit out of each other.
Yeah, there was a referee, wasn't there?
Yeah, just some pissed up guy.
And they had campfires going, and people were proper like body slamming each other onto the mud.
Literally stripped off and just kicking shit out of each other. And they were like saying, well, it might be winner stays on. Yeah. So they were just anyone in the crowd put their hand up and they can join. I mean, we had to hold our mate Liam back because I think he probably wanted to go. But yeah, bloody hell, that was very, very random. And don't get me wrong, we had a couple of beers and watched it. It was one of the strangest experiences.
That was really cool, that little place.
Yeah,
it was
I liked it in there.
You saw like a little opening in the trees, and they've kind of gone a little bit back towards that with the new Tarmac Lake Village District X, where you go through trees and into something else. But it was almost like the God and Satan video by Biffy Clyro with the twinkly lights
and stuff.
And a bar, and then just to add to the ambience, guys are absolutely leathering shit out of each other.
Oh man, they were full on red hand marks on the back, like slapping each other. Yeah, brilliant. Did you have one as well this week?
Yeah, I remember 2013, and thankfully this one you can actually find on YouTube. We were walking back, and it was one of the years where the racetrack was actually, you could actually walk back to the village via there, and it cut loads out of the walking. And there's a big crowd just gathered in the middle of the racetrack. Everyone's got torches. This is probably before everyone used the phone torches, isn't it? It had actual torches shining down, and you can hear all this cheering and everything. I think, what the hell's going on there? So we walk closer and kind of peer around, and we can just hear everyone chanting, chess, 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 chess. And there's just a normal, regular-sized chessboard on the floor, two guys playing, a huge crowd cheering them on, cheering and booing every move. It was like the wrestling, but with chess.
Yeah.
And it is. I'll have to try and find the YouTube link and share it, but that was a fantastic random memory, and loads more will come back to us as we go through the weeks, because it's those little random moments. To be honest, we miss them a little bit because we've gone over to RIP for the last few years. You get much more back in.
A bit more tame, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a similar thing with Bloodstock as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
With
Oh yeah,
the jousting,
the bin
and
jousting, yeah.
which I think they've now
They've made it official. Yeah,
They have, yeah, because I imagine people have broke legs and all sorts in that over the years. It must be a health and safety nightmare for them because they're not allowed to encourage it, are they?
No. So anyone uninitiated to bloodstock, you know, the big garbage disposal sort of things you'd see in America, almost like a dumpster.
Yeah.
You'll just walk through the Midgard campsite, which is the party camp, and you'll see a huge crowd gathered, and then a couple of people, maybe one or two, in the bin. And then it sounds weird just saying it. And then a group push it, and then an opposing team come at the other side, and they just smash into each other and see who can knock either the bin over or people out.
Yeah.
So that's something, and they made that official.
Yeah, I sent us a few videos from this year actually.
Yeah.
Have you seen them? It's pretty good. And then they kind of like if they meet in the middle, it's whoever throws the other person off the bin wins.
Oh, right. It's quite. They have an actual wrestle.
Yeah, it's quite funny to watch, but yeah, very random. But yeah, those are our two, and we'll go.
Yeah, we sent it over to the Reddit community as well, and said, "What's the most random thing you've seen at Download Festival?"
So I've got one from Southern Hammer, and I actually remember this. I think it was this year, wasn't it? Part of it during fall, but it says this year. Some guy was holding up a sign saying, "Do our baby's gender reveal," all day on the Saturday. They were blocking everyone's view constantly, and it was driving people nuts. During Enter Shikari, someone behind me shouted, "I know what your child's going to be. It's going to be a twat." Absolutely sent me and still makes me laugh. And I think it must be the same person who got Fallout Boy to do it at the end.
Yeah, Pete Vance did it, didn't he? Which seemed like a nice moment, but I didn't realise they'd been blocking everyone's view all day.
Yeah, pissing everyone off all day.
Yeah, don't be a selfish individual with stuff like that.
No.
It's all nice, but yeah.
And I get, with that as well, there's no flags at Download.
No.
Is there? And I think that makes a huge difference. There used to be.
No, yes. You think, maybe. I'll have to watch.
I can't remember if it was that
Sonosphere had them.
Yeah.
And it was...
It's a ball ache, isn't it? Why do you need them?
The only one thing that I can think is so you find your friends again in the crowd, but you spend all day holding a flag up, block everyone around you's view.
Yeah.
Even when you look on the big screens, it blocks half the view of what they're filming. I mean, you've seen it all on Glastonbury.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Just to hold up a massive poster of Ainsley Harriott.
Yeah.
Massive flag of Ainsley Harriott doing something.
Yeah, I mean, it's chuckleable, but
yeah.
Just stick that in the campsite.
Yeah.
It's shit that I really don't like the flags, and just don't be selfish.
Yeah.
So I'll go from one from that's a long jumping feed 9828, a gazebo up a tree in 2010. We named it Gazebo Tree. Nice and sharp, but I like that one.
Basic humour there.
And we had another one from this is my favourite one, I've got to say, from Full Metal Duck 89. Some guy, fully naked, pulling his mate, also fully naked, through the village on a little red wagon. This was on the Wednesday morning, just after camp had opened.
That definitely sums it up.
The timing makes that. I mean, campsite doesn't even officially open until 12, so the fact that it opened early and these guys had got on it so much that they'd managed to do that.
Strip off and... Oh, man. Yeah. Brilliant. Love that section.
Love it.
Makes me chuckle every time.
Yeah, thanks for the submissions. People have sent loads in, and we'll keep coming back to these because there's more and more brilliant posts.
This is the Lowdown Podcast.
So on to a bit of music news now. I think the one that's jumped out to me most this week is an incredible take on events from Dame Helen Mirren.
What is going on here, Mike?
I shared this to Johnny on Friday and he hadn't seen it. And when I read it, I thought it was one of them like Daily Mash articles where it's just, The Onion or something. So the headline was, Helen Mirren is so sad Kurt Cobain is dead because he never got to experience the magic of GPS. It's the most wonderful thing.
Have we got any more? We can elaborate on that with Mike, because
that's pretty much it.
Is that it?
That was it. Yeah, she just randomly thought
of
that
all
that
the
was
things
music.
she thought someone would miss.
Yeah, I mean GPS is great.
I mean it's brilliant, but bloody hell.
So yeah, that's the tragedy of Kurt Cobain, just compounded by Dame Helen Mirren. There, it's just maybe if he knew where he was going. I mean, it's yeah. I'll move swiftly on because it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
If by anyone knows Dame Helen Mirren, just check in on her, will you please?
Yeah, see she's doing all right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we all love a bit of GPS and Waze and Google Maps, but that's where it ends. So we've had a good few festival lineup announcements this week, Johnny.
Yeah,
You've shared a few with me.
The one that really sticks out to me, we spoke about it the other week, which is Sonic Temple with the double Metallica headliner.
Yes.
It looks like a fake lineup.
Yeah.
It looks like a fake poster. So now they've got Linkin Park headlining the Saturday, Korn headlining the Thursday. I mean, I'll just read some of these bands out very quickly. Bad Omens, Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Incubus, Alice in Chains, Ice Nine Kills, Mastodon, Bullet, Jimmy Eat World, which looks like Jimmy Cat World on the poster, which is Kate mentioned. Killswitch Engage, Motionless in White, 3 Days Grace. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. That is a hell of a festival.
It's
Over
one of
my
them.
birthday weekend, actually. May,
Is it?
May
The more you
8th.
look at it, the better it gets, to be
It
honest.
does.
Even like right down into the lower stages and the lower
Yeah,
slots.
I'm just looking now. The first band's on Overkill, Exodus, Testament, then into Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie, and then Metallica.
That's
What
incredible.
a day. Bloody hell.
More fuel on the corn fire.
Yeah, Alien Ant Farm in there as well, which I think could be a potential. But yeah, there's some insane bands in there. I would love to go to that.
Ended up going all quiet because we're just admiring this lineup so much.
Yeah.
Very good
Just reading
lineup,
through
that.
it. Yeah, incredible. Bloody hell.
But again, that's in May, Sonic Temple, so you do get a bit of crossover from the people that do the US festivals, then move over here. Trivium, obviously, will be at Bloodstock, so they won't be at Download.
Who would you like to see the most out of all those into Download?
I mean, I'm a huge Jimmy Eat World fan, so
Yeah.
they would be up on my list. Killswitch, I said a few weeks ago, I think was one. Linkin Park would be amazing. I don't think we'll get them, but
I'm starting to get a bit of a gut feel, and I don't know, I've got nothing to base it off, but that they won't be there and they'll be elsewhere, ready to release probably. But Incubus, Alice in Chains, for me, that would be amazing. But yeah, what a hell of a lineup.
yeah, brilliant. Well done to those guys. And what else we got? We had the Monsters of Rock it's in Brazil, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
That's a right
Yep.
old classic rock fest, isn't it?
Even the poster itself looks really cool, proper Monsters of Rock. I'm just looking at your Monsters of Rock poster from Deep Purple, Alice Cooper and...
From 2006. Similar. Well, we've got Queensryche on there as well.
Yeah.
Scorpions, Judas Priest, Europe, Sabotage, Queensryche, Opeth, and
Yep.
Stratovarius.
Well, 19th of... I can only guess that's April.
April, yeah. That's the 30-year anniversary of that festival, apparently.
Wow.
Of the one in Brazil. There's a few bands I'd like to see again on there. Scorpions, I don't think we'll get. If you remember a few years back, they were asked to headline the second stage and turned it down because they said they couldn't fit the full touring production on it.
Oh, really?
Which was, but I think someone hurt their ego slightly.
Yeah.
Judas Priest are one of the top bands I hope for this year.
You've met someone out the Scorpions, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Is it the drummer?
Yeah, well, he's not with them anymore, James Katak, yeah. We went to... Me and Jane were doing a rail card thing around Europe, and we stopped in Strasbourg for just a tea and an Italian, and this guy rocks up and he looks like Rod Stewart meets Sammy Hagar, and he sits down with his wife who's, dolled up to the max, absolute, looks like she walked out of a Whitesnake video.
Yeah.
And they're chatting away, and I'm Rudy, and I'm thinking, all right, I know, I didn't know him, but I knew who the other members of Scorpions were, and anyway, he turns around and he goes, hey man, how's it going, dude, how's it going? And I was like, all right. He's going, you guys American? You're speaking American? I said, no, we're English. Oh, sorry. So anyway, we were we carried on chatting, and he elbows me, and he goes, "Hey man, look at the face I made him a pizza." And he turned round, and he had a pizza, and he put pepperoni fries, and like a lot of peppers as a big smile. I was like, "Oh, great man, well done." We got chatting a bit as well, and he said, "Oh yeah, no, I drum in the Scorpions," and his wife. They were both kept sticking their head under the table and taking a swig out of a whiskey bottle. And me and Jane had sat down, had a couple of beers, ordered, eaten, and we were leaving by the time he hadn't even touched his pizza. He was still pricking about with it, making faces. And he said, and then anyway, I was in a school band at the time, doing bloody Arctic Monkeys covers. And I'd left there with an offer of a support slot for the Scorpions.
Alibi support.
And as we left, his wife had opened a handbag and was scooping a spaghetti bolognese into the bag under the table. It was, that was quite a celebrity encounter.
Brilliant.
I messaged Scott's dad. Well, my dad, I messaged Dad and he spoke to Simon, Scott's dad, and he said, "Did he look a bit like Rod Stewart?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh yeah, he's James Kotak. He's the drummer." Wow. So I had to Google it, and it was him. But, yeah, they're just living on a different planet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's great.
Random Scorpion story there. So what else have we got? Other festivals?
We've got 2,000 Trees.
Trees.
So I'd seen that they're obviously doing a bit of a countdown this week. I think they've also, like you said, Andy Coppin used to do, put a couple of images on Instagram to try and
they put that
some clues.
Yeah, and they also did that thing of where they'd sent it out to a few people and
it was great.
Film
live reactions. I think it was a really good PR.
Yeah, I agree.
I quite like that. So they've got on the Thursday Kneecap, on the Friday Taking Back Sunday, Coheed and Cambria, and the Saturday is Alexis on Fire, which we're big fans of.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, mate?
I would. It's not as good as previous years for me. Personally, I thought last year was excellent with Gaslight Anthem.
Yeah.
I think Bullet from a Valentine have done it before. However, I know Paris and Kneecap are very popular.
Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday, the singer struggles like hell from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Obviously, a really influential band in their field, Coheed and Cambria, I'm a really big fan of. Alexis on Fire, I am. So, I would have a great time if I went.
I'd like to go because I've heard really good things, and we've obviously watched a lot of the TPD.
I don't even know what that one. Oh, Rory's there as well. I like to download. Employed to Serve, very good.
Is it Malevolent?
It looks like Malevolence, but I don't think
I'm
it
not
is.
Sure. No. Yeah, I don't recognise a lot on there. Maybe again, that's me being a little bit ignorant.
Probably, We're going to fix that, aren't we? We're trying.
We ran about this the other day. That this is what I've loved about doing this podcast so far. We definitely take more notice of things and digest it a bit more, whether it be films or music or bands.
Yeah,
because we then like to talk about it on the pod, which is cool. And then obviously expanding our horizons a little bit when we're coming across these bands, going, well, they're headlining there and they must be pretty good. Let's have a. It
pushes us to, step out of our comfort zone somewhat. But one I've been listening to a lot because they've been on a lot of people's predicted posters, and people on the forum have been asking for them as idols.
Yeah.
Have you listen to them?
Yeah, brilliant.
They're good. Yeah, good. They're a bit like, remind me a bit of Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
And a little, in parts, a few of the songs reminded me of like an angry Paolo Nutini.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a little bit of the way they kind of tell stories in the song just reminded me of Paolo Nutini for some reason, but a punky, edgy
He's
version.
a great frontman, isn't he?
Yeah, and a little bit like Soft Player.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, very exciting, they're rising fast.
Tell you who I've listened to non-stop since probably episode 1, Sleep Token. So I never really give them a shot. I get it now. I absolutely get it. We bought some nice new headphones for the pod, and listening to them through that
it's great through the headphones, must say.
Amazing.
I'm only really sold on the summoning.
Yeah. There's some other great tracks. There's some that I really don't get, but I think Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. At least keeps you on your toes.
It's different. It's totally different.
But
to
they go
anything
from
I've
like a
heard.
crushing riff into like R&B.
It's a bit like rap R&B type. Yeah.
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 But insane talent. The drummers are incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously last week we spoke about the films and the horror films.
Well, we've been pushing each other to watch new films, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah. In the Terrifier.
Terrifier.
And I keep calling it the Terrorizer. So I watched them both. The second one last night, the first one the night before. Brilliant.
I need to watch the first
Absolutely
one.
brilliant. The first one, you can tell it's much more low budget.
Yeah.
There's probably maybe 5 people in the whole film. Still very gory.
Yeah.
But that type of like plasticine type horror gore. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Where
it's so obviously
it looks
fake.
a bit fake, but still makes you go, oh, jeez.
Yeah, well, the second one was still a bit like that. The spoiler alert if anyone's not seen it. Well, the spoiler is that someone gets killed.
Yeah.
The shopkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
And that it's so obviously fake that it makes it a little bit silly and a little bit camp.
Yeah, but you were right in the character. There's not really been many modern day horror characters that really stick out. I would say, and he's absolutely brilliant.
No, I think we were saying I don't think there's been one since Ghostface from
It's probably
Scream.
Scream, isn't it? Or Saw. Maybe?
Yeah, Jigsaw. And the Billy the Puppet.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. That's probably the last one.
Yeah.
And that's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that Saw was 2004. So
That first one, we won't talk about it because there is a big spoiler in there, but absolutely amazing.
Saw 1.
Yeah, really.
If you hadn't seen Saw 1 by now, you deserve to.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Spoiled for you.
But yeah, the character of Art, who's the clown in
He plays such a
Terrifier,
good part.
It's funny in parts. I was absolutely howling at him, even though he's just chopped someone in half with an axe. Yeah,
It's
brilliant.
it's strange to have that where you're you're cringing at the content and then laughing at this maniac. It's a well directed thing. I do look forward to seeing the third one.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll try and get to
we'll try
the
and get
cinema
there next week or something. That'd be good.
Although they're always on dead late, just because I like horror films. I
think they start
still
at
on an
9:30
early
at night, and it's a few hours long. The third one,
Yeah.
I think. Coming out of there, gone midnight.
Yeah, no, and then I'm going to
yourself.
have to calm down. Last time I went to the cinema I went to see that Trap, the M. Night Shyamalan one.
Yeah.
Which was all right.
Yeah.
It was entertaining enough, but it was. I don't think it was as clever as it thought it was. We enjoyed it a lot. Me and Kate went, and it was just. I think if it didn't take itself as seriously, it would have been a lot better. But I came out and we nipped over the road to McDonald's to get a double cheeseburger. Took one bite, and the seagull came over, started absolutely going mental, pecking at my hands, nicked the burger and flew off. I was like, for fuck's sake. So if I come out of Terrifier and a seagull does that, I'm gonna
won't sleep for a week.
No, that's it. Take my axe with me.
Yeah. Brill, is that all the news we've got for this week?
I think it is festival wise. There's stuff's coming out every day pretty much with the festival circuit.
Rockham
Ring and Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Bloodstock again because they have added a band you're very fond of.
Yeah, Mastodon as their special guests on the Sunday, I think it is. Subbing Gojira, which is incredible. I didn't think the lineup could get much stronger.
No, that's it. I didn't think there was a slot to fill, and then they put that in.
And they've opened up a new campsite, I believe.
Yes, I was corrected on this because I thought it had totally sold out, but they've added another campsite and more camping tickets, which is
and a new car park next to it. Apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, for that particular camping. I think it's classed as a quiet camp.
So that must be the biggest year they've ever done.
It's got to be. And I imagine they'll sell out again. I know they've added more tickets, but
it won't be long if you're looking at that lineup thinking I want to go. Get your tickets now because it's they won't hang about.
No, definitely not.
I would have been there if I wasn't going to see Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
And Rockham Ring.
Yeah.
Rockham Ring have announced 56 bands, and with it being the week before Download, I think there's some that might be interesting to us. The Prodigy.
Yeah, they're cropping up quite
Quite a lot.
Quite a lot there.
One of them we don't know where they would be at the moment at Download. I know they headlined Isle of Wight last year.
They've headlined Download before, I think.
They have headlined Download before. They've done it once or twice. So just
I'm not
once.
sure.
Rise Against.
Yeah.
Falling in Reverse seem to be popping up everywhere, and after a very strong... I won't go into Ronnie Radke's past again, but they definitely seem to be on the circuit.
Yeah.
Spirit Box.
Yeah, I
I
like
know
them.
we would be very keen on that. In Flames as well. Heaven Shall Burn, and many, many more. So their lineup, they've announced 70 out of 100 acts have now been confirmed, so
Wow.
they're well ahead of the curve. But hey, we're not far off now. It's the 26th of October, and we're only waiting until the 12th.
A couple of weeks.
That's exciting.
It is.
And then we can all piss and moan until June.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, so should we wrap up another week of the Lowdown podcast there, my
Yeah, I
friend?
think so, mate. I'm really enjoying this. The engagement we've had from everyone, from friends and families, and across all the forums and Reddit, it's just been really unexpected.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming back every week. And if you're just joining us, then thanks for coming.
Yeah, there's new people. Obviously, we can see the stats and stuff on Spotify.
Yeah,
new
it's
people
nice.
listening every week. And I had a look the other day of kind of whereabouts these people are, and it is everywhere, which is so lovely. UK, United States, Australia, Ireland, Denmark, Turkey, Indonesia. I think we know who
Yeah, we know
those
those
people are. And Croatia, and Russia as well.
Yeah, so either that or a good VPN.
yeah, exactly. So we're really overwhelmed by the response, and we absolutely love doing it, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Thanks very much. Don't forget to hit follow, subscribe, whatever you do on those things. I think it's,
We're just about getting to grips with technology, aren't we now?
that's it, just about. It's only taken us 4 hours to do this episode.
Yeah.
Right, thanks
Brilliant.
everybody.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next week.
This is the Lowdown Podcast. This is the Lowdown Podcast.
I love you all. Love you all.